There are 300,000 people in this city, and most of them will never know each other. You may walk on the same pavements, sit on the same benches, or even use the same tram roads, but you never look up. You never noticed all these moments that might have been something. But occasionally there's a shift that feels less like a probability and more like intention. When two lives that almost kept missing each other finally meet. Because most relationships begin in fragments, in almost. And maybe that's why some people feel familiar before you even meet them, like your life had already made space. And this film is about that space in between, about the two people who found each other in this city, about the version of yourself you wouldn't have been able to find alone, and how you rarely realize the difference between an ending and a goodbye. There's a theory, not a scientific one, called the invisible string theory. And it proposes that certain people are connected by something you cannot see or prove long before they even meet. This unseen thread stretches across distance, time, lives, and decisions. It's invisible but always there. And it's not destiny in the grand Hollywood sense, but it's something quieter than that. That the missed buses and the wrong turns are these almost moments of the string shortening, quietly pulling two people towards each other. And here is what we know about these two lives. They live in the same city, their lives move parallel to each other, split into different frames, different routines, and the string is just waiting, while they both feel alive in a city that contains them. The invisible string theory doesn't really specify how or when the meeting is going to happen. It only says that it will when the time is right. And usually it is something embarrassingly small, like missing the same tram.
Not again. Why do you always do this to me?
Logically, it's on us to be on time, not the universe.
That's a convenient way of seeing things.
There it is. That was the moment the string pulled. It wasn't cinematic in any sense. Just two people on a bench with 20 minutes to spare and no one else to be.
Hi, I'm Maya.
Raj,
Nice to meet you.
and you?
What are you doing? What are you writing?
Nothing interesting. Just the usual.
Just late in the night, writing on a tissue paper, not interesting. Is that weird?
If the invisible string theory brings people together, the crossing path theory explains what they are there to do. Some people are not meant forever. They are meant to arrive at a specific moment for a reason and leave something behind when they go. It's not always a wound or something that hurts. Sometimes it's just a slightly different version of yourself that you wouldn't have found alone. And this is how it begins. Not with grand gestures or significant declarations, with just a corner table and a tissue paper and someone who asks before she sits down. With the particular ease of two people who are somehow already at home with each
Hi,
other.
Raj. I'm Maya from the tram stop the other day. Do you mind? So with the tissue paper again.
Oh, yeah. Like the notebook at home.
Oh, so what are you writing about?
Nothing interesting though.
Nothing interesting. But you seem to always be writing.
There's a quality of attention and friendship that is hard to describe without making it sound like more than what it is. It's about what you don't need to say to the other person, about the specific comfort of being with someone who doesn't require you to perform a version of yourself. Raj had spent a long time performing fine, acting self-sufficient, being someone who didn't need anywhere to put his thoughts except a tissue paper. And here was someone who had not only noticed the tissue paper, but not made it a strange thing.
Here is the diary. So that you stop writing on tissues.
Thank you.
A gift like this is a statement. It says only one thing, that I see you. Not the version you perform for the world, but the one that's underneath, that's still looking for somewhere to put things. So start here. But what Maya couldn't have predicted was that once she left, carry it everywhere with him, because letting go of that book felt like letting go of her. You know, some gifts just outlast the intention behind them. Habits are the architecture of life. Most of them we build alone without even thinking or choosing. And then someone arrives in your life without even trying, and they start opening doors you had previously kept closed. And you start walking through them, and the architecture changes. But you don't notice all of this until one day you reach for the tissue and you stop. At some point in every close friendship, there is a conversation where two people just stop being polite about what they actually think. It's not an argument, it's just being honest with each other, the kind that doesn't really ask permission.
Oh, by the way, do you think it's fate that brought us together? I mean, like the other night at the tram stop, then meeting at Spoons.
You really think all that?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened way too many times for it to just be coincidence.
I think you just romanticize things because you think reality is disappointing.
Some things land and leave no visible mark. Not because they didn't land, but because the person they landed on is practiced at absorbing the impact without ever showing it. He probably didn't mean it at all, but some thoughts, once said out loud, live in the space between the two people forever. And that was the last time. Not because either of them decided it would be. Just because life, when you're not watching, has a way of making decisions for you. The last meeting theory, at its heart, is a theory about the cruelty of ordinary moments. Because most things end quietly, like on a cold Tuesday morning. Because life gets busy, timing gets complicated, and messages go a little longer without replies. This is how distance gets created. The reply that takes a day instead of an hour, the plan gets deferred to the next week. Because they are just living, and currently living for both of them is starting to happen in different directions. Leaving one person with questions the other has already stopped asking. Maya forward. She carried what matters and set down the rest and keeps moving. Raj? Well, he kept going back to the places. Because there's a particular comfort in returning to a place that holds a memory. It's like you can briefly close the distance between who you were and who you are now. But some part of him is still on that bench, in that cafe, at that tram stop, with 20 minutes and nowhere else to be. We started with 300,000 people, most of them strangers forever. But not these two, not entirely, not anymore. And it doesn't matter whether it was fate or probability, whether the string was real or the mathematics just ran out of the room. What matters is simpler than that. She arrived, she stayed for a while, and somewhere in that time, he became more himself. That was always the point of crossing paths theory. It's never about permanence, just what changed. But look at him now, he is different, he is softer, he is more himself, but a different version. And whatever you want to call the thing that did to him,
It wasn't nothing.